Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope that everyone will be fine. So, welcome back to another topic for the Angular. I have been creating an Angular series last for I created 4 to 5 videos on Angular and then I skip it and move to the next one. So now I decided that I want to make a complete list for that, a complete series where you can learn everything about Angular. And now it's a very important topic which is very hardly I have seen on YouTube, which even have there are a lot of other tutorials that people even created blogs, but I mostly see that they are not much really clear. So I think so this want to be the right time to create something like that. So this topic is about the input binding, and I believe that it's not an easy topic to discuss, and it's a little bit difficult to understand, but I believe I try all my best that I want to tell you, and I want to as much as I can emphasize you as good as I can. So let's get started. So what is actually input binding? So first of all, the idea of input and output is to exchange data between two components. So they are a mechanism to send or receive data from one component to the another. So right now, input is used to receive data, and whereas output is used to send data out. So output sends data out by exposing event producers, which we will definitely learn it after that. And when we want to pass data from the parent component to the child component, we use input binding with the input decorator. I want a little bit. I will discuss everything about that. Then what is input decorator is. So so the first thing I'm going to do is I have already created the two components. The first component is the app.component.html, which is created automatically inside the Angular application. And I also created another component with the name of child.component.ts. So if you're interested to create that component, so just simply type ng. Just want to zoom that out. So ng for Angular, G for generate, C for component, and child. So that's I have created the component using CLI. I believe that I have the video about that, so you can easily understand how to create a component later on. So the first thing I'm gonna do is to I have created the h1 for the app.component.html and right here parent component, and that's so you guys can understand better. And inside the child component.html, I created the child component, right? So there we go. So about the parent component, the first thing I'm gonna do is to create inside the app.component.ts file, I'm gonna create the array of an object. So I'm gonna go to the app.component.ts file, and inside the class export class app component, I'm gonna create my very first list of an array of an object. So inside the constructor, I believe you most of the guys you understand what constructor is. So constructor runs automatically in an Angular application, and whenever we instantiate a new object in a class, that's where we can use constructor. So inside the constructor, I'm going to use an array of an object with the name of customers. That's what the name of the object, and I'm using an array because we are using a list of an array, so a list of the name for the customers. So this dot customers equal to that. And now you see an error over here. It says the property customer does not exist on type. So in order to define that, there are 2 to 3 ways, but I'm not gonna. I want to make this topic most on the app on the input binding. Don't want to talk about what interfaces are and everything. So just for now, I'm gonna create a very basic interface here. So outside of the class, create the keyword interface, and name of the interface is customer, and bring the parentheses, and we are using 3 properties, first with the ID, and I'm given the type for the number. That's that's what is the static typing. And next is the email, so I'm gonna give it the email, not actually this. All right, and the next one is the last one has to be string. All right, oh sorry, that should be string. All right, now so I created the interface for the customer. The good way is that we create that class or model independently, not inside the app.component.ts. But basically, this topic is not about that. So it's just to be more specific towards the input binding. So I'm not gonna hit other topics. So here I'm going to explain you about the types that we have just talked about. So down here, this dot customers equal to, I'm going to define the properties. So ID to be one, and name to be John. All depend up to you, that whatever the name you want to give. Email to be john@gmail.com, and I'm not gonna write everything, so just paste it down here and change that ID to be 2, and type here aviation, and change that to be seep. All right, so saves that, and now it's still saying the property customer does not exist on type app component. So the reason why it's giving me because we haven't defined it here. So in order to define it, we need to have our inside there. We need to define the customer's property, and because we are using the interface, so customer, and that's far, right? So now you see that now our error has been removed, and you see there is a red line because it's expecting comma. So I just simply put the comma right down here. So after that, once we have created the customers, bunch of customers. So this, remember that this has all been inside the app.component.ts, which is our parent class. Now what I'm gonna do is to send all the data inside the child.component.html. All right, so how we can gonna do is we will use the input decorator, and what input decorator is, we will discuss that. So before moving on to the child component.html, I'm going to go inside the app.component.html. The first thing you need to do is to create the selector, whatever the selector name for the child. So if you have to be more certain what's the name, so simply go to the app.component, sorry, to the child.component.ts, which is your child class. You need to grab this selector and move that inside the main class, which is app.component.html, and this has to be your selector, and move tab. Inside that, you need to bring your customers. So these are all the customers that you have, the name of your input decorator, which you will later on create on your child class, and all the data inside the customers we will send to the child class. And now just simply grab that customer, move to the child.component.ts, and I have already discussed with you about the input decorator. So simply type here @input and the name of your input bind, which has to be customers. And now you see, oh, actually I forget to bring that, and you need to bring that input into your Angular core. So I put that, and now inside the child.component.html, because you need to put everything, you need to show all your listing here. So I use div and use static. ng for is actually the for the looping, and again I want to discuss about that, but just to tell you that this is used for the loop. So let I just give it the name of customers, and use string interpolation for showing you the name here. So cust, and if I want to show the name, so I can use name. All right, saves that. And now if I go to the child component, now you see that the parent component has shared the information inside your child component, right? Just to show you properly, I created the class for the container, and move that down here. If I have used the bootstrap class, yeah. So that's where you see that now we can have number of names. So remember that the input binding is used to share the parent component properties inside the child component. So I believe you guys can understand. If you have any queries, you can feel free to comment me on my channel. So I want to see you for the next time.